Phil, bring us into the show.
What are we doing? Welcome back to the Big Red Beast. We're getting ready to set an in-style Ford cab onto a 1979 C70 frame. It already has a 22-foot Jerdan bed installed on it.
Let's give you a look of the
Yes,
whole thing here. It's the Chattahoochee cab. We're going to put it on a Chevrolet chassis. But yeah, this is what's happening. Instead of putting a square body on this Chevrolet chassis, we're putting an in-style Ford on it. What's your thoughts on it, Phil?
it's dangling.
Ah,
It's dangling.
dangling.
Those are my thoughts upon it.
Yeah. Oh, I lied. I'm not ready.
It needs to go back just a little. Are you trying to line it up with these holes right here?
Nice, Scott. Pull it back as far as you can. Lift it on something.
Okay. You're welcome. Driver's side just a little. Oh yeah, I see that. Yep.
All right. Now, as far as you bracket, how's it fitting the frame over that flange?
Looks good.
Yeah, the bracket looks good.
Yeah, there's plenty of room. You're not going to need to do anything to the flange because the bottom part is against the side of the frame. So it's good. Looks good.
All right.
Sure, don't need to go back just a little bit more. I'm going to right now, Phil.
All right.
Gotta find out where the other brackets go.
That's what I say. I think if these holes are in it, like I was lining up yesterday, it needs to go back just a little bit more, but we'll see.
Keep pulling back on it. It's going that way. It's gonna fall off the frame.
Yeah.
We need to bring it over this way.
Yeah.
I know, I'm pulling straight, but something ain't straight.
I don't know on the side. John's on the way to get that clean.
Well, I'll be around there in a second. All right, here's going to be the first look. Chattahoochee in style
Mm-hmm.
on the Chevrolet chassis.
Things gonna sit in there, ain't it?
Yeah.
Of course, Harold does too.
Let's see.
Unless you used that cross member to set the frame on, it's lower. Then you'd have the front. You'd
He's
have
a
to deal
little
with too.
high. Let's go back just a little bit, but it ain't gonna go back much. It's pulling sideways. But here's an empty frame. We pulled a cab off. Here is a parts truck we're getting the front end for. That's the grill shell right there out of the parts truck. There's a fender. And there's a fender. Gotta get this radiator support. We're gonna take the doors off and we're putting them on this right here. This is the C70 chassis. And that is an in-style Ford cab and front end on it. We got it mocked up right here. We're just using some sheet metal, the Chattahoochee sheet metal, but we're gonna put that other Ford 850 sheet metal on it. It's better stuff. But yeah, we put a Ford cab on this Chevrolet chassis. We're gonna put a Ford motor in it. But, you know, it made sense to us because this rollback sitting here, and like I say, we're not Chevrolet people. We got a Chevrolet cab and truck, front end and everything, and motor and everything to go in it, but we're not Chevrolet people, so we just decided to go. I was sitting here looking one day, and they use Chevrolet and Ford both use Clark 5-speeds in these old Ford, these old big trucks, 600s, C60s, C70s. Bob back there, it's got a Clark transmission in it. That one I'm not sure if it's Clark or not. That is a Clark transmission in this chassis right here. And that's the one I was sitting there looking at that transmission, and I was looking at the input shaft. And I thought that's coarse spline, and the input shaft and the other. This transmission's covered up with that blue tarp. It's coarse spline. It's got a big block Chevrolet bell housing on it. Well, Chevrolet. Big block and small block are the same. Bell housing. Pattern anyway. And I thought, shoot, we can just put a Ford motor and transmission right down in that frame and put an in-style cab on it, because we like those in-style cabs. And that's what we did. We took this one loose. We got the torch out here, and the fenders bolt here, and there's a bracket there, and then the cab mounts are rivet on right here, and the same on the other side. So what we did was we unbolted. I'll show you right here. That is what bolts to the frame. It bolts right here, right there at them bolt holes, and it bolts to the frame, and then you bolt the fender to it, and then there's some more holes down there in the frame, and then, you know, the back of the cab fender bolts right here, and then this bolts to the front bumper. Well, the 600s have the radiator support is all made into one with the grill shell and everything. See, right here's where your radiator bolts up on this one. The 850s don't do that. They have this is the radiator support. The bracket runs back here, and here is the fender bracket. So we're going to take these off, use this radiator support, use those fender brackets, and then this is the cab mount. Here is the bracket. Here is the mount that we took off the frame and transferred to the Chevrolet frame. We haven't got the holes cut in it yet, drilled in it for bolts to bolt it up. The back of the cab sits up on that mount right there, and you can see the cross member. It's a little shorter than the Chevrolet chassis or cab, but that's okay. Old big chassis don't care whether it's a Chevrolet or a Ford cab on it, or a Ford or Chevrolet motor power in it. It don't matter to it. So that's what we're doing. The big old Chattahoochee cassette cab is on the Chevrolet C70 chassis. I hope you're out there and listening. Fella that we got this truck from, I hope you see this. I know you said whenever you saw it before you wanted to see what we did with it. Well, this is what we're doing with it. It's gonna be a rollback. And like I say, the Chevrolet chassis already had the rollback on it. It was already the right length. Man, we have found trucks and brought them in here and got them, and none of them's long enough to be a rollback chassis. This one was already a rollback. We found this truck and bought it, and it was already a rollback. So boom, we just mounted a cab on it, or we're going to mount a cab on it. We got it sitting there now ready to mount. And the other truck that we have that is a Ford rollback already, we've got some plans for it too. We've had a kind of a crazy summer, and we've had trouble deciding what we wanted to do, and I think right now we got everything nailed down. Harold the 600 is going to be that 600, the N600 I should say. Harold the N600 is going to be that 600 wrecker. The Chattahoochie is going to be a rollback. We're going to pull the motor and transmission out of Bob because it'll work right in that truck right there, and it ain't got but 10,000 miles on it. It's a fire truck. And then like I said, this 850 in style, it's just a parts truck. This is a road tractor. For back in the day, it has a 534 or a 477, I don't know which. It's a road tractor, and it's just too big for us. It don't have, I mean, that C70 chassis is probably close to the same size, but this has got air brakes. This 850's got air brakes. The C70 just has juice brakes. But yeah, after we get this thing stripped, we'll probably get rid of the rest of it because the motor's not any good. We can't get it to turn over. We think it's stuck, but it could be in the starter. But we're pretty sure it's stuck. We've tried to kick it over with the starter, and it just said it won't kick out, it won't do nothing. We've put a bolt on the end of the crank there and tried to turn the crank. It won't do nothing. I went under it and was gonna try to turn it, and I might yet do that. That's the only thing left to do. Take the inspection plate down and try to turn it at the crank. Had to do that with another motor. It was showing signs of being stuck, but I got it to spin over at the crank on the flywheel. But anyway, that's where we're at. Got this old chassis here. This is what's left of the Chattahoochee Cassetta truck, and it'll probably leave too. It's got some goodies still on it. Front axle. It'll probably leave soon. Probably leave with this one. They'll probably go scrap because nothing there that we want to use anymore. I don't know if anybody needs something on it. Maybe you need to get in touch with us, but just put a comment in or something if you need some of the suspension or something. But anyway, that's what we got. That's the deal with this truck. The C70 is going to be a Ford in style with a Ford motor, and the motor that we've got in the fire truck, we're thinking about putting it in Creepy, the wrecker that we've got. It's a big motor. Creepy's got a small block in it. My daddy always said there ain't no substitute for cubic inches. And people would argue with him and say, well, that small block will turn up a lot more than a big block will. And he'd say, that's good, because the big block don't need to turn up. It's got the big power. But anyway, that's what it is. Thanks for watching.